Man, do you feel like you owe it to yourself to show up a little bit more and you don't really feel like you have lately? Do you feel like you're further along than you really believe you are? And by further along, I mean further along in getting help for yourself and really don't know where to start. Hi, my name is Jesse, and this is the Valiant Lifestyle. And what I show you, and what I teach you, and what I coach you on, what I support you with is the knowledge of knowing that you are the silver bullet when it comes to healing yourself. You are really the master of this asset that you're in. And it comes to covering your assets. And that's what this will be all about, is covering your assets. You, this temple, this home that you belong in. Before I get started though, I want to thank you. If this is your first time watching me, welcome. Welcome to this episode. And if this is you coming back for more, I love that. That's like you coming back to the well of water, the well of bounty, the well of abundance. So let's get after it. I'm going to go a little rogue today because I want to talk about some dark stuff. Even though it's bright, it's sunny, and it's a lovely day here where I am. It hasn't always been easy for me. And nor did I ever want it to be easy. I wanted to struggle a little bit because I knew that if it would be too easy for me, somewhere in my subconscious, that I really wouldn't value life. And I'm seeing more value as I go about my days. So let's talk about 25 years ago and where I started with this health journey. I really was in a place where I was blaming my doctor. I was blaming myself. I wasn't living up to my best expectations. And I really felt like on the inside, like I really wasn't worth anything. So what popped up for me was how I was positioned in life. And how I was positioned in life, I wasn't sure-footed. And because I wasn't sure-footed, I developed infections. I developed problems within my body that didn't seem to go away. And the absence of knowledge, the absence of accountability, in the absence of, well, let's just say ignorance, I decided that it was okay to live this way, but complaining about it. And what I saw within myself after a number of years went by, looking back at that frame in my life, because those were my starting points, learning so much, and loving that I had gone through that experience, even though it was tough. It was tough for me because I was really just getting out on my own for the first time into university. I was learning more about myself at such a fast pace, and I was also confused about where I was in life and what my purpose was, because I really didn't feel like my parents had set the stage for that. And I was out blaming them too. I really hadn't developed my tools. I'd had my compass, but not really sure how to use it. Which direction am I going in? So let's get even more granular here. I didn't feel like I was worth it. I didn't think that I was enough. And what I did to hide was I used alcohol. I punished the liver. And those of you in the health field, those of you who know about the liver, if you were one of those people that repeated the punish the liver, let's punish the liver tonight, guys, let's go out to the bar, that was a sign of, well, that is one of the liver is one of three places in your body where you hold on to anger. And indeed I was angry. But I wasn't angry at everyone else like I thought I was. I was angry with myself because I wasn't doing enough for myself. And I hid behind coffee. Coffee became my other addiction. Coffee, booze, and abusing that, as well as my own integrity to myself, which was trying to find myself in other people. And I keep saying that like people know what I mean. I'm talking about infidelity. I'm talking about getting into a relationship and not staying with it and having integrity issues, as well as not being honest with myself. So those were some really dark moments. But what it was for me was a wake-up call when I realized with my doctor, this orthopedic surgeon on the east coast of Canada, by the way, said that in order to look after this infection in your foot, we're going to have to amputate part of your toe. And indeed they did. They did. The wake-up call wasn't until years later when I learned that I had done that all to myself. Because I hadn't I thought I wasn't really worth it. And at a deeper level, what I was saying to myself was, well, I'm too tired to cook. I'm too tired to drink water. I'm too tired and burned out up here because of all the drinking that I've been doing and consuming other things and really not educating myself about my own body. And many of you men out there, many of you men, this is my plea to you. You think that you're further along than you actually are, and you're not. The only issue is your mindset. For me, that's what it was. It was just getting right in my head. And that took me until I would say 8 years ago. 8 years ago when I had my daughter. She became the light of my life. She became my bien-être, my well-being. She became everything for me because in order for me to be able to be there for her, I had to be right for her. And if I wasn't right for me, then I wasn't right for her. Many of us men do this thing where we hide. We don't face our problems. We hide out in our own bodies. But our bodies end up keeping the score and telling us, well, no, you can't keep this secret anymore. You can't hold on to that secret thought anymore, because it ends up in some sort of pain in the neck, pain in our shoulder, pain in the jaw. Those are the words that don't get out of your mouth that you really want to say to people, especially when you're angry. Those are your FUs, by the way, that don't escape your mouth. They get calcified in here. Jaw issues, teeth issues, the decisions we make. These are representative of all the little decisions that I've made in my life. There's no more hiding, guys. We've got to face it. We've got to face what we're doing to our bodies. The world needs more men who are courageous. There's enough of them out there not doing anything about it. There's, in fact, too many of us out there not doing anything about it. And our daughters, our mothers, our wives are just craving for you to stand up, to finally take action in your life, to finally do something. It took losing the great relationship with my mother. It took losing 2 previous relationships, one of which where I was married. It took having part of my toe amputated. It took even more turmoil on my body when I wasn't looking after it to realize that I wasn't right in my head. We've got to face these things, guys. In the words of Bob Newhart, stop it. Some of you will know what that is and who that is. I just dated myself. There's no more hiding. We've got to face this. We've got to face that we're not thinking about who we really are. And who we really are is someone awesome. Someone just raring to get out. That person inside of you that is saying, show me off to the world. But like me, kept cowering, thinking, no one's going to be interested. No one wants to hear my story. Hearing your story for many people will be the story that helps other people get out of their muck. When you tell your story, as I've learned, when I tell my story, people listen. And I thought they wouldn't. But it has this ripple effect where you inspire people. Stop living in cowardice. Start living your journey. Start living your life. No more living with this drive-through food. No more living with this severe addiction to caffeine and having to stop multiple times before you pee yourself in your vehicle. I've done that. No more of this not talking to your spouse about how you feel, especially when it comes to the ailments in your body and you're not feeling well. Stop hiding. She wants something deeper. She knows there's something wrong by the way she feels. And this is perhaps why she's acting the way she does, because her body knows something's wrong, but you don't. Because you're not connected to this piece, because you haven't acknowledged really who you are. Step up. It's time to step up, guys. It's time. I've risen, and I'm still rising. And each day I find little things that I really got to do better on. Yesterday, it was about grip strength and vitality for me. I learned how my dominant arm, my right arm, is weaker than my left arm when it came to gripping. Wow, what insight. Start taking account and learning how this body works, because this is the only thing that you get to live in for this life. This is home. Make sure it's comfortable for you. Make it the best thing that you've ever lived in. Clear your thoughts. Clear your monkey brain. But Jesse, you don't understand. Yes, I do. I deal with it daily. But I've got tools now that help me ensure that I stay on track for you, for my daughter, for my spouse, my wife, for my mother, for my father, for my family, for all of my clients. I've got a place in life. I've got a purpose. I've got to show up for them. I am the ambassador for core vitality and what that means. And it doesn't mean hiding. Not anymore. In my darkest days when I was depressed, I didn't know that the rounds and rounds of antibiotics that I had done when a child, when I hadn't felt right, when I was sick, actually affected my hormones within my gut, giving me some of those things, some of those problems later on in life. Serotonin, 90% of serotonin is manufactured in the gut. Where does cortisol come from? Cortisol is one of those other hormones that is manufactured in your body with histamines and adrenaline. And there's misfires in there when you don't treat your gut like it is this wonderful sacred place, when you garbage it with drive-through food. And you cake it with sweets. Parasites live in there. Worms live in there because it's so toxic. But it's toxic because the way you think that your body is. That's how it got there in the first place, because you didn't think you were enough. My brother, you are more than enough. The stinking thinking now goes. Today you make the decision to rise. No more fries. Keep your eyes on the prize. You are that. Know that you are good. And I offer you this, a 30-minute complimentary call on me when you go to thevaliantlifestyle.com. And let's settle this. Let's get you on with your life. Let's move you forward. I'm Jesse with Valiant Wellness. Let's do this.